Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Proud Skill Worker. Today, we have an opportunity to interview Shannon Jack. Shannon, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Michael.
So, tell us a little bit, Shannon, about yourself. Where are you now? Where are you from? Kind of where you've been all over the country. What do you do?
Well, I started off with Skillwork. Man, this is my first job here in Milwaukee, and I'm originally out of Tupelo, Mississippi.
Where else you been in the country? I know the Tupelo, and you said Milwaukee. You'd mentioned a little earlier that you spent some time in Texas, a little bit of time in the Army. Let's talk about you as a person. I think your travels are cool. Let's hear those.
Originally, I was born and raised in the middle of Texas, right in the heart of Texas, and now I joined the Army when I turned of age, right out of high school, and I haven't made back around to Texas since I started that journey. I've been to Mississippi for several years, and hopefully I can get back to Texas to see my dad. Um, you know, and it's been over 20 years, and I have this opportunity with this job to finally reunite with my family, and it's been a long road.
That's awesome. Your time in the Army, talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, is that something that prepared you for your career you have now, or complete polar opposite?
I've had several jobs that have prepared me for being in maintenance. Is I worked at a hardware store even in Mississippi for a few years. I got my college degree. I was in the Army. I was a cargo handler, stevedore. I worked operated on heavy equipment, loaded trains, ships, and planes in Okinawa, Virginia, and it's been a it's been a lifelong. You never really leave the military. It's always there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's really hard to explain to people. I have a Marine Corps background, so that brotherhood, that unity that you have with people who have served, it never goes away. Like you said, it's a part of you forever. It doesn't matter how long you serve, 4 years, 20 years, 16, but all of those things, that's who you are now. It's a part of your core. No pun intended.
Yeah, yes, tight group of friends. Yep, the guys.
Jump into your career here as a maintenance technician, kind of your maintenance roles. What have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced in your career, Shannon?
The biggest challenge is it's just there's a lot of little hurdles in the road, but if you just keep going at it every day, and it eventually gets smoother no matter where you're at. But you should always challenge yourself. You should never just always have something on the back burner going. I've always have, um, but yeah, just slow little things. You might have some hangups, but that's the first place you need to go whenever you need to fix something. Is that place you neglected need to go to prioritize things. But it's been a long road, but I really enjoy it, and this I love this job. Job working. There's a lot of freedom in skill work, and but so you have a lot of choices to make. Where you plan on staying at, or the opportunities. But there's plenty of opportunities out there. It's a wonderful job for anybody starting off in maintenance, or want to get out and travel. See the country. Coming from a small town in the center of Texas, that's that's kind of the thing that's always stuck by my side. Not to say everybody's the same. It ain't for everybody, but it's a very well. You become a very well-rounded maintenance person with all your relationships you develop and your communication skills with different folks, because that's a lot of a lot of things that come with life too. It's a good job.
But you talked a little bit in the beginning about some of the hurdles that you faced. What are some of those little hurdles that you've come across in your career, like things that, hey, could have slowed you down in your maintenance career, things that could have tripped you up, but you decided to push through?
Like when you're first coming out of the gate, just take it slow. Don't don't run out there and try to be a hero. There's no heroes. The moment you think you're special, you're going to mess something up or mess somebody else up or get hurt. So take your time. If you got to do a work order, fill that out. Make sure everything's done correctly to the T. Make sure, observe first thing. Am I going? What I'm going to have to lock out? Do I know this machine well enough? Did I think I'm adequately suited to do this, but don't be so scared that you're not going to actually get the job done. And give it a try before you actually call more experienced workers, and before you ask for help. That way you kind of learn. Because if you just don't do anything, nothing gets done.
Mm.
But be sure you do it safely. Is the priority on that? Is the first step.
Yeah, I think what you described reminds me of this line we always try to walk between confidence and cocky. That confidence line to approach a machine and know what you need to do the work order, fill out the lockout tagout, but not cocky, not, hey, I got this, get out of the way. So is that a line that you've kind of struggled with at times, or have you seen people struggle with and been able to help them through it? Because it's definitely a younger technician that would struggle in that, right? Like someone who just, hey, I got it. Oh no, I'm stuck. So how would you talk to a technician in that world that's kind of trying to be the confident side, but not push people away with that cocky side?
It's just it took it's there's a lot more opportunity. And back when I was growing up, I mean, through maintenance, going through the factory, I know I always thought, well, right now, there's some very rich person with a loaded down bank account that would give everything he got away just so he could be in my shoes, a lowly factory worker. My great supervisor, way up there supervisor, would do that.
Mm.
But nowadays, it's so blended in, it's hard to do that. But there's so many opportunities out here in this job with the baby boomers going away that the skilled manufacturing trades are wide open, and it's a lot easier, and people are a lot more well-rounded. It's an easier workforce to work with, and I'm so we're just kind of blessed at both ends here. It's just different,
Yeah, I love
different ways
that.
of looking at it.
I love that. You had mentioned, as you just said, the baby boomers leaving. What does that do to the floor? I mean, the maintenance teams. Are you seeing like a huge gap in knowledge? Are you seeing a shift in culture? I mean, what do you think is the biggest byproduct of the baby boomers stepping away in this industry opening up and almost being short staffed?
Well, it's I guess it'd be depending on the individual retiring. If for the most part, it'd be. I mean, I never would want to look at it like I'd retire because most folks know that the next step in life after retirement. But it's I most folks want. There's a lot of people that want to stick around and keep busy in the field. We have a guy that's 70 years old that comes in out of Florida just to be up at the plant that I'm at to help out. He's been doing this for 50 years in this. So he's a very knowledgeable guy, but he don't let anybody know it. He's a real good guy.
Shannon, you talked a little bit about some of the industries you've come up in maintenance and troubleshooting and all of that. What industries have you been in? I mean, factory types, industry types. Where have you learned your skills?
Um, I've been in two different phone plants. I've been in a factory that made like oxygen bottles and like different types of like scuba gear, firefighter cylinders with the big presses. I've worked at a cheese plant, and when I first started out, I worked in a cheese plant, and I just out of the military, and the lady I worked for was from Wisconsin, ironically enough, and that's why I'm kind of glad to be in up here. And I've always been a Cowboys fan, and her Green Bay Packers, but she was very disciplined, and she helped me a lot, and guided me. I know I felt a call to go to maintenance, and that's why I headed this direction. And it may have been just the intercom while I was in the factory too. Who knows? But it was it's been an experience. I mean, I'm humble enough to say I've got to walk that road, and I had to go to college and work at the same time. But anybody can do it. You got to just keep on keeping on. I mean, just you can't let people slow you down. If you believe you can do something, you have your sights on it. Don't stop.
You brought up this young lady who was there kind of at the beginning of your maintenance career in Wisconsin at the cheese factory, and It's really cool to see you to talk about like the impact she had on your career so many years ago and still resonates with you. Have you seen opportunities in your career to have that impact on young technicians coming in now? Like people who you see who kind of remind you of yourself, or you go, you know what, I'm gonna take them under my wing, I'm gonna lead them that way. And when you see those people, what are you trying to tell them?
I try to tell them the advice that would fit their life at the moment. See myself in them, but because anything else is just gonna be a useless tool. And so, I do try to prune up on people and try to help them out, help them grow. But you know, a lot of folks have their own interests in line, and I can't really help them out too much, But that that's been around. Nothing's changed, and that's been around like that forever.
I think it's cool to talk about you went from cheese to that plastic molds, and now you're in a corrugated box factory. That's correct right now, right?
Sir,
Across those three industries, probably fairly different. I mean, when you go to buy those three things at the store, you're probably not shopping at the same place. So, skills wise, do you think all of those skills are transferable industry to industry? Do you think when you showed up, do you think your skills carried with you, or are you starting over every time you walk in the door?
fundamentally, a lot. Yes. If you put an experienced technician in a factory, it might take them a year, maybe 6 months at the most, to get a firm enough knowledge to be surpass. I mean, to do excel. Just the operator job is a job that the maintenance worker don't know. When we go into it, if you go into a plant, if you see an operator, if you got free time, you know, if you humble yourself, just go over there, hang out with an operator. I mean, I know I was an operator for a good while before I even stepped foot, going to college. But if you stay with that operator long enough online every night and learn his job in your free time. If you have free time, if you learn their job, that's the only job you're lacking if you're an experienced technician. The operators, when I go up to a line, the first thing I want to do is ask the operator, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? What's happening? And the operators, they're with the machine all night. And a lot of times I talk to them looking for that same quality,
Yeah,
Michael.
that
I do that a lot.
that leads me in a completely different direction, candidly, than I thought we'd go today, but I want to talk about it because I think it's so vital. You brought up using the operators as a resource. And candidly, there's probably a lot of people in maintenance who go, I'm not asking the operator anything. I'm here to fix it. They're here to run it. I want to talk about that relationship because I think you bring it up. You guys are on the same team. The machine running is the goal, right? An operator's part of that. You're part of that. So talk to me about why it's valuable as a
Mhm.
maintenance technician to know how the machine operates, to know the operator, to know the workflow, and what value that brings to you.
You want to make a quality product. It's making a quality product, the end result. There's no skipping steps in there, and it takes, if you take your time and work with it long enough, it's all about the time and effort you put in back behind it. You, you can, there's no reason why someone could succeed in what they're doing, trying to accomplish.
You mentioned being an operator before getting into maintenance and going to college and kind of getting into maintenance. Do you think that those skills from your operator days, do you think those have helped you?
Those skills help me out a lot. I mean, it's like I have a camaraderie that I didn't have, after you leave the military. You know, you lack, so, and you get that back, and you're not really in management, so you don't have to worry about, politics or what this, that, and he says she's, I mean, you're not in the production floor, so you don't have to worry about sweating it too much, and you a little bit better pay. So I was looking at it like maintenance is the way to go. I mean, realistically, that's what I've seen from the production floor.
Where do you, Shannon, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You talk about the maintenance roles and it's kind of that tiered system in maintenance from production into management. Where do you see yourself going in 5 years? Kind of what's Shannon's life plan? Where are you going?
Well, I plan on continue doing what I'm doing. Um, I definitely don't plan on retiring. um, well, I'm planning on I'm thinking about getting a mobile home and just travel across the country and I'm trading in my Toyota and getting a truck to pull it, and
All
probably
right.
just keep on working.
I like it. I mean, I think when someone says, "What are you going to do in 5 years?" and your answer is, "I'm doing what I love now. I'm going to keep doing that." Pretty good answer. You could be in a worse place, right? So this Shannon, this is part of the show where I like to turn it over to you. Um, every one of our guests that we've had on, I've asked them this question, and I think it's important for the listeners to hear this. So, what is one thing that you wish every maintenance technician or every maintenance individual that you've ever encountered could hear from you, whether they're older than you, younger than you? What's Shannon's words of wisdom if he's only got 5 minutes to tell somebody how to grow it and develop in their career?
Take your time. Don't get in a hurry. Be safe. What happens in maintenance stays in maintenance. Probably the best words ever.
I love it. I love it. Well, Shannon, thank you so much. I think you hit on a lot of key points today. I think, and candidly, we talked about this taking your time and developing yourself as a maintenance worker, but being confident when you approach jobs. Really learning from everybody on the floor, whether it's the production operators, the managers, the other people. You hit on your education and how kind of your upbringing and all of the people in your life who've grown you have had an impact and helped you develop. So, I mean, Shannon, for me, it's a blessing to do these things. It's definitely great to hear your story coming out of small town, heart of Texas, going into the Army, all over the country, moving big rig, getting them on the boats. Life's pretty good for you, Shannon. I appreciate you, and thank you so much to everybody who's listening, who's watching the show, whether you're listening to it on Apple or Spotify or YouTube. Please subscribe, continue to be a part of this. If you want to be on the show, please reach out. We'd love to listen. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And Shannon, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you so much for your words of wisdom.